Last Sunday's meeting here at Sha Tin was a day celebrating the champions of racing in this part of the world. Here's what we've got coming up for you on this edition of HK Direct. We'll be playing you the extended version of our interview with two-time champion jockey Zac Purton, plus we reveal the winner of April's Master Class. Yes, last Sunday was certainly a special day for Zac Purton as he guided his champion, Beauty Generation, to back-to-back wins in the Champions Mile. The Australian rider's called Hong Kong home since 2007 and is now the second most successful jockey in Hong Kong racing history, behind only the legendary Douglas White. I caught up with Zac to find out how he became the king of the Hong Kong jockeys' room.
The reason I wanted to come to Hong Kong was to further my experience and try and improve myself. I'd noticed that every jockey from Australia that had moved to Hong Kong and then gone back to Australia had come back a completely different rider, and they were the riders that were at the top echelon in our country. And I thought if I need to take that next step and get to the top of the tree, then Hong Kong was a place I needed to come to get the experience. I only ever initially thought I would come for 6 months, which was my original contract term. For whatever reason, even though I wasn't doing that well to begin with, I enjoyed the lifestyle here, I enjoyed the racing, and I decided to stick it out. I thought I got youth on my side and I didn't have anything at home that was holding me back. I was able to give it a go for as long as it took, and looking back now, that was a pretty good decision.
There were times though where sticking it out wasn't such a strong idea for yourself. There was a recent story in the press, an anecdote you told where you and Nicole, your now wife, were in Phuket, and you said to her in that first season you didn't want to come back to Hong Kong. Why were you feeling that way at that point in time? I
just lost the enthusiasm for racing. It was when you're not getting on the right horses and you're not getting an opportunity, you're not getting a chance. You bang your head against the wall and you think, you get sick of doing that. So, you soon get a headache. Get rid of the headache, you've got to get out of there. But when I first come, people forget that at that time the Jockey Club didn't provide us with any managers. So I stepped off the plane, I didn't know any trainers, I didn't know any owners, I was basically thrown into the frying pan. I come at the same time as Glenn Boss and Kevin Shea, and they had higher profiles than what I did. So naturally the new jockeys on the scene to be given the opportunities were going to be those two. But I also stepped in when Douglas White was firmly in control. Brett Preble was here, obviously in a similar position to him. Anthony Delpeche had been here for a long time, as did Felix Kutzi, Gerard Mosse, Eric Saint-Martin, Christophe Soumillon was coming for the winters. I was a long, long way down the list. How did you turn it around then from where you were to how things are now? Well, I think one of the best things that happened to me when I first come was John Moore said that he was going to support me. So I basically worked for him every day. I rode all the trials for him. I was getting all the horses ready for him. And then EI struck in Australia. And that was right before the start of the season. So I got to ride for John for maybe 2 to 3 weeks. And he had a little bit of a quiet start to the season. And then he announced that Darren Beadman was going to come and be a stable jockey. So all the work I'd done, putting all my eggs in one basket, the basket was basically ripped out from underneath me. And I quickly realised that you can't put all your eggs in one basket here. You've got to try and get around and ride for as many trainers as you can. And I just had to work hard and continue to do that. You mentioned Douglas White before. Let's fast forward to 2013, 2014. Up until that point, he'd been the 13-time champion jockey. You put an end to that. Where does that rank overall in your career? Yeah, obviously right at the top. It was a special moment. I come back. I believed I could win the championship the season before, and unfortunately I got kidney stones towards the end of that season, and the operation was a bit of a disaster. And anyway, I ended up missing, I think it was six meetings or something right at the end. So I went from being 2 winners behind Douglas to about 15, and it was all over. But what it done was gave me the belief that I could do it. I then knew what it took, and I knew how to do it. And I come back that next season, I just put everything I had into getting the job done. To be able to stand up there at the end of that season with the trophy was a special moment. You and Joe have had a terrific rivalry over the last few years since he arrived here from Singapore.
It really culminated in that Jockeys Championship battle last season. Watching it as a racing fan was fantastic. What was it like for you?
Yeah, it was good fun. You know, I didn't have any pressure on me at the start of the season. Joe had all the pressure on him and all the expectation on him, so it's a lot easier when you go into it in that position. And I was keeping pace with him through the first third of the season. I thought to myself, you know, once we got 6 weeks into the season, I thought to myself, you know, I'm a chance this season. I think it's going to be interesting. But in April, I think it was, I had back-to-back suspensions, and I went from being 4 or 5 winners behind him to 16 winners behind him, and I thought my opportunity was then gone. But in the month of May, I rode 21 winners, I think it was. I had a really good month. And I basically went from being behind him to, by the time we got to June, I was in front of him, and I couldn't believe I'd reeled him in as quick as what I did.
Zac Purton went clear, and Patch Baby raced away from Raging Blitzkrieg. King Mortar's got his second win, then Jade Theatre, but racing away is Patch Baby. Another one for Purton over Raging Blitzkrieg. Whatever you can do, Joe, I can do too.
There's no doubt that Joe has improved me as a rider in the time he's been here, and it's been good to have someone push me, and obviously I believe I've pushed him as well. And we're both better riders because of it, and you know, the interest it created from around the world was good for racing, and good for racing in Hong Kong. You
get to ride some terrific horses in your role here in Hong Kong. Is Beauty Generation the best of them?
He is, yeah. His rating says that. You know, he's just a fantastic horse. He's turned into a pretty straightforward horse. He's very, very good at what he does. He knows what he needs to do.
Purton sitting motionless, 3 in front on Beauty Generation. What a remarkable season it's been. Another incredible racing story, a second Champions Mile, and a coveted crowding glory.
You know, it's probably the one thing that was missing from my CV was a horse of his calibre. You know, I've ridden a lot of good horses at times and won a lot of big races and important races, but I've never had one horse of his calibre or quality that's been as consistent as he has for as long as he has, albeit it's only been 1 season now. It'd be nice for him to go and do it for 2 or 3 seasons. But he's definitely been the most consistent horse at that level that I've ridden in my career.
Thanks to Zac for taking the time to talk to us. That's it for this edition of HK Direct. We race here at Sha Tin on Sunday, a big 11-race card where the feature event is the Group 3 Queen Mother Memorial Cup for the Stayers, and that's due as race 7 on the program. As always, for more information, you can go to the website hkjc.com, and you can also follow us through Twitter. Thanks for your company on this edition of the show. We look forward to joining you on the special time of next Thursday when we've got a special feature with the Bayliss brothers, Jake and Regan. We're going to leave you though with the look at Masterclass, revealing the winner of it for April. And who else could you give it to but a horse who went past Viva Pitaka's prize money record and became the first horse to win 8 races in a season. For April, Masterclass goes to Beauty Generation.
Sitting motionless, 3 in front on Beauty Generation. What a remarkable season it's been. Another incredible racing story, a second Champions Mile, and a coveted crowding glory. Beauty Generation